Let's react to the latest injury, this time to Dylan Harper. Get the fan reaction on the latest comments from the mayor about Project Marble.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs within the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kings 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. Hope you're having a great week. And as always, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever we get podcasts. You know where to go. Kings 5 Plus app, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Pick a platform. We are there. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is here. And new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. Download FanDuel.com to get started. What are we talking about today? We're going to be reacting to the latest injury bug that hit the Spurs, this time to Dylan Harper. Should we make a big deal about this? Is it something that could really impact his rookie season as a whole? What does it mean for the other players? And did he really get injured on a dunk by Castle? We're talking about that, as well as get the latest fan reaction to Mayor Jones, San Antonio mayor. She recently spoke with Kings 5 TV regarding her thoughts on where we're at with Project Marble / Spurs Arena, Downtown Arena, I should say. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. And if time permitting, we'll get into a fan comment or two. Let's go and bring in our guest. Look who is back. It's been so long since we had Mike Jimenez of the Area 210 podcast, but he is back, everybody. And for the record, not for the lack of trying. I have tried to get Jimenez to come on, but the schedules have just been out of whack, but they fit this time. Mike, welcome back, buddy. We missed you here.
I'm glad to be back, and apparently I'm wearing Texas State maroon.
Is that what that is?
That's what I've been told today, Texas State maroon, but I was cheering for UTSA over the weekend.
Yeah, well, maybe you want to wear Texas State, because did you go there?
Sophomore, junior year, Texas State. My senior year, graduating from UTSA.
So technically you can cheer for both, right?
I have love for both schools. What can I say?
There you go. Again, follow him on X at MJ Acquired Taste. He's going to talk about the show that he does with Joe Garcia, Area 210 podcast, in just a little bit. Now, Mike is a busy man, so let's go and dive into this right now. And let's react to the latest news on the injury front, this time to rookie guard Dylan Harper. The Spurs put out a press release saying that he injured his, I believe it was his left thumb. He underwent surgery, and the Spurs will provide updates as needed. But the outcome, short term, is that he'll likely not participate in training camp. Preseason might, with a capital letter, be ready for the start of the regular season. But even at that, Mike, I think you want to just go ahead and knock this out quick, right? Because there was a viral video of Castle just laying one on Harper, just dunking on him, rowdy style. And a lot of fans, that's got to be it because, Harper put his hand up and trying to block the shot. But it could have happened at any point, whether it wasn't that play or just during their offseason run. This stuff happens. You're not really thinking it's just because Castle's dunk, are you?
Oh, not at all. And in fact, whenever I see that dunk, I heard so many people talk about it, how excited they were about it. I thought Castle just laid one on him. I thought Castle went on top of him. Monster dunk. It was a bunch of nothing is what it was. It was a putback dunk, and Harper was out of position. Give me a break. I mean, it was a good play. Don't get me wrong. Harper had some skills, athleticism up there, but Wemby couldn't have blocked that shot, much less a Harper. So, no, that's not why he got hurt, but it is a big deal. The injury is a big deal because you want him to be part of the unit. You want him to come out and play starter-type minutes. Maybe not be the starter, but get 20 to 26 minutes of run for a game. It might take some time to get him back into the groove of things because, again, if you're not going to be there for camp, you're not going to be there for practice, you're not going to be there to build rapport with the team, it is a big deal.
It is a big deal. You're right, it is. And not the ideal way for him to start his first season in the league. I think for him, the biggest punch is no training camp and no preseason games. I mean, I think that hurts the most as he rehabs from surgery. Now, I don't think he'll be out for that long. I'm glad they caught it now. They still have the rest of September, half of October to heal up. And even then, knowing the Spurs, Mike, you've seen it before, the doctors can say he's 100%, and they'll go, okay, we're going to tack on an extra week or two. to really be sure. So he'll go through the process of, healing, rehabbing, some contact, no contact drills, then full on contact drill. I wouldn't even be surprised if they sent him to Austin before playing with San Antonio, just for him to get in the field, and then kind of like a rehab stint. We saw they did that with Zach Collins. They've done that with Keldon Johnson. So I think I would not be surprised if that happens. But do you think when he gets back, Mike, he'll be raring to go? Are you worried about that rust, that adjustment period, kind of taking longer now?
I wouldn't worry about the rust, and I think it would actually be outright insulting if they did send him to Austin. That's the number 2 pick of the draft. You don't send him to Austin. He ain't Zach Collins. Okay, he ain't Zach Collins
I'm not
at all.
saying because he's G League ready. I'm just saying it's more of the rehab process, just the rehabbing.
No, you don't want him to start his career out there because no one drafted in the top 15 is going to be starting in the G League to begin their career. Although I will say this, and I know this is kind of off topic, why is there so much hatred towards Dylan Harper from Spurs fans? I mean, not all Spurs fans. There's a lot of animosity towards him. Maybe part of it's because of how outspoken his dad is on social media. Part of it is that you have these Stephon Castle fans who are worried that Harper's going to take their guys' minutes. And they get offended whenever you hear someone say that. I've said this in the past. Harper was a better college player than Castle was. Not saying that he's a better player than him today or right now. What I'm saying is coming out of the gates, from college, Harper was a more polished player. And I think that a lot of Spurs fans don't know who Harper is, would much rather cheer for Castle because they know he's a known commodity. And I think the disrespect that a lot of Spurs fans give Dylan Harper is weird. It's outright because this is the number 2 player of the draft. I mean, this is a top guy. He would have gone number 1 out of several drafts in recent years. So I don't understand why there's a little bit of animosity towards Harper. Maybe because a lot of Spurs fans don't necessarily feel like he fit the position that was as of need. It would have been easier if we had gotten the 3 or 4 pick and gotten Ace Bailey, right? It would have been easier if we had gotten Edgecombe or a swing man, right? But I feel like Spurs fans need to give Harper a little bit of grace and a little bit of love, man, because we're giving so much love to Carter Bryant for crying out loud, and Carter Bryant isn't even close to the skill level that Dylan Harper is. It's crazy.
Another ripple effect of Harper being out is that it's delayed to see how the 3-guard lineup will work, that 3-guard rotation. So that gets delayed. Also, Mitch Johnson, that'll be a good test for him. How is he going to adjust to that lineup once Harper is free and cleared and ready to go on the court? What if Castle is just balling out? What if Fox and Castle, their plus minus on off court stats, everything is just through the roof, and then we're gonna mess that up to start the season? I wouldn't say mess it up in a bad way. You're adding a weapon like Harper. That's a good thing. But will that kind of mess the rhythm up, mess the combo up? I don't think it will, but I think that's something to keep an eye on, especially if you're Mitch Johnson moving forward. And also, too, that maybe opens up some minutes for maybe Carter Bryant. What do you think?
No, I think the person that benefits the most is going to be Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is going to be able to solidify himself to a 26 to 30 minute per guy to start off the season. Carter Bryant, I don't know how NBA ready he is. I mean, let's be honest. He's a good defensive player, but offensively he's lacking. And I know there's a lot of optimism about him, but it's going to be a while. If anyone's going to start the career in the G League, it's Carter Bryant. I would much rather Bryant Harper start on the varsity squad in San Antonio. But Bryant is a project still. And I think that a lot of Spurs fans are buying way too much stock in Carter Bryant too early. He's going to be a decent player. He's going to be an NBA-ready player at some point. But this is going to be a year for him to get his feet wet. He's not going to be able to ball out in year one.
Right, yeah. I think obviously Vassell is the guy that's going to take advantage of those extra minutes. What other guards are on the rotation? I know there's McLaughlin.
I mean, he's not a guard. Yeah. He's not a guard, but Champagny might get some extra run with this one. He might have been the odd man out.
Yeah, so there's so many ripple effects to the Dylan Harper injury, at least in the short term. But long term, let's project this long term now. Jimenez, I don't think it impacts his any race for the rookie of the year versus Flag. I don't think it will be. I think Harper will kind of catch on pretty quick during once he gets back to the regular season. So I think he'll be in the mix. With him and Flag, and who's another guy like Edgecombe, Bailey. Those guys will be fighting for it. So I don't think he'll win it though, simply because the minutes are stacked against him. But at least his name will be in there. Are you worried about this? Are you not already saying like, already got an injury? Are you worried about the injury bug, injury prone, that whole label there?
No, I worry about that with Jeremy Sohan. But with Dylan Harper, this is just a finger. He'll be fine. Now, it is his shooting hand, if I'm not mistaken, if that's his left hand.
Yeah.
No, I mean, an injury like this is kind of just, crap happens type of thing.
Yeah.
I am worried this year about Jeremy Sohan when it comes to his health this year, because he's had 2 years out of 3 where he's had injuries. He's in a contract year. I worry about that. I want him to prove us right, prove me wrong, prove a lot of people right, prove me wrong. That he's worthy of being a long-term play for the Spurs. Obviously, he's an above-average defender. We see the video that he's been releasing of him practicing his three-point shot and all that stuff. You want him to do well. I want him to do well. But this is a very pivotal year in his career. And because it's a contract year, he's got to make the most out of his minutes.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, it's not just Harper who suffered an injury this offseason. It's also Sohan. He was removed from Team Poland because of an injury, and the Spurs brought him back, and he was raring to go for Team Poland and playing FIBA basket tournament that's going on right now overseas. But so all in all, nothing to worry about too much regarding Harper and his injury. Does it set his timeline back a little bit? Maybe. But not too much. I think the biggest adjustment is going to be for Mitch Johnson, the coaching the staff, how they're going to manage that 3-guard lineup once he does get back to action. Once again, the Spurs did not say he will not be ready for the regular season. They just said likely, updates will be provided. But surgery, you guaranteed no training camp and possibly no preseason games for Dylan Harper. All right, when we get back, we're going to react a little bit to the recent comments made by Mayor Jones. She's pushing back on Project Marvel. What did she say? We're going to get, in this case, a fan's reaction. Yeah, Mike Jimenez. Yeah, he may be a media guy, but he's also a fan at heart. So we're going to talk about that in just a few seconds right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You'll love using the FanDuel app because however you like to play and however you like to bet, you can do player props, building same-game parlays, jumping into live action as it unfolds. FanDuel can do it all. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're catching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. Quick, easy, the best way to add a little more energy to this Sunday. So you ready to play? I know you are. Download the FanDuel app by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Mr. Mike Jimenez. He is back, everybody. Yes, he's been away from us. Again, not for lack of trying. I have been trying to ask Jimenez to come on, but scheduling has just been out of whack. But fortunately, he's able to carve out a little time and his busy schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. All right, so everybody knows right now, I think all Spurs fans across the globe, that there is a push for a new downtown arena for your San Antonio Spurs in the distant future, but nevertheless, at least that's the plan. For all you know, the term sheet that the Spurs provided was approved / voted on, yes, to move forward. Y'all know that Mayor Jones, she's been pushing it back against it. She wanted everything to take a pause. And she continues her battle against the new arena. And basically, there's a vote coming up in November. So right now, you're seeing both sides campaigning hard, and it just started. The Spurs this past weekend, they put on a get out the vote yes for the whole thing, the entertainment district, the arena. So they had a big party, invited everybody. And as well, those that are anti-Project Marvel held their own rally saying, no, money should be invested somewhere else, like streets and education. And, Jones is saying, yeah, we're going to have a deficit now, but we're gonna have a bigger one in the future because of this whole. It's a mess, everybody. It's a mess right now. So just a heads up, we're gonna briefly touch on this with Mike Jimenez. Tomorrow's Locked On Spurs, we're gonna be joined by Spurs political consultant Andrew Solano. So he's gonna get into full details of the latest and what's going on, at least from the Spurs side. But right now, Mike. And by the way, I'm saving the video for tomorrow's show because I want Andrew to react to what Mayor Ortiz had to say. But what did you react to when you saw that video I shared with you via Ken's Fire TV?
I wasn't surprised. Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones is on a crusade against the Spurs. Let's call it what it is. There's not one thing the Spurs or any study can provide that's going to let her be supportive of Project Marvel or of the Spurs arena. Not one thing. She's lost not only once at City Hall, but she's lost twice at City Hall regarding this. And instead of just saying, hey, we're going to let this go through, this is obviously the will of the people because they elected these officials to make certain decisions, she's just going to try to pump the brakes on everything and complain until she hopes she maybe one day gets her way. The disinformation that she is offering out there, making people confused about all this, is appalling. I have seen people who are very conservative not like her, but guess what? I know some very liberal people as well who don't like her either. She does not want Project Marvel, and there's nothing that anyone can say or evidence that can be provided that's going to change her mind. That's why I don't pay any attention to her, because she's going to, when she spoke at that event at City Hall a couple of weeks ago, the one where we saw Sean Elliott passionately speak on support of Project Marvel and the San Antonio Spurs. When she started out her speech by saying, this is an issue about poverty, I was like, what are you talking about? This is not a poverty issue. None of the funds that could be used towards an item like Project Marvel can go and be redirected towards other things. She's being deceptive. She's a liar. And she's outright telling people things that are incorrect and not correcting others because she doesn't want the truth to come out. She doesn't want it to come out. And I'm sorry.
If you put your fan cap on right now,
yeah,
and the video, I released it yesterday. There was a lot of reaction, a lot of anti-mayor reaction. There's a sprinkle of pro-mayor in her thoughts.
Right.
But as a fan, Jimenez, after hearing her latest public speaking about it, how do you as a fan, how did other fans react to it?
It depends, man. It depends on the age. My personal opinion from the people that I associate with, my friends, my family, subscribers of my show and all that stuff, it seems like there is a age 35 and older who are supportive of a Project Marvel because it's a long-term view towards it all. And I have found that most people between 18 and 35 are kind of either indifferent about Project Marvel or outright against it. It's all about who's going to go out and vote when it comes to it all. And I understand why there is issues for like a desire for things like drainage or education or poverty and all that stuff. I understand that those are all hot topic issues that should be addressed at some point. But none of the dollars designed for this can be directed towards that. And every time Gina Ortiz-Jones says that it can, or that it could be spent in a different way, her nose grows longer and longer because she's lying to people. One last thing. I am a big fan of the San Antonio Spurs. Mm-hmm. They've been in San Antonio since what, 1973? Yes. They've only had one stadium built for them in 50 plus years. The Hemisphere Arena was not built for them. That was built before the Spurs arrived in San Antonio. The Alamo Dome was not built for the Spurs. It was a transition.
No, it was multi-purpose. It was supposed to be for an NFL team and an NBA team.
And then the AT&T Center, or SBC Center at the time, when they went to AT&T and then Frost Bank Center, was the only arena that the Spurs have ever had in San Antonio that's been built for the actual Spurs franchise.
You mentioned right now, Hemisphere wasn't technically built for them, right? It was built for the World's Fair, right?
For the World's Fair, yeah, 1968, 5 years before they even arrived. So it's interesting and disingenuous whenever I hear Mayor Jones speak. It's disingenuous beyond all belief. And I understand that there's reasons for gripe for wanting certain things about poverty and all that stuff, but these dollars can happen. You know what the dollars they were? When I came to San Antonio to go watch the UTSA Texas State game, you know, I have dual residency between here and East Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed at the Element Hotel downtown. The person that would have been paying for it would have been me, because those are the types of dollars that go towards something like this. Obviously, there's issues when it comes to deficits and things like that. True. But these dollars and the state dollars and reimbursements can only be applied to this type of venue. And one last thing. The one thing about that Ken's 5 interview that she said that I found to be very, very appalling in some respects is like, we need a cut of the action. We need this and the other.
Oh,
you know, if we're going to...
At the end, yeah.
Okay, we need to have a cut of the Spurs, ownership of the Spurs. We need to have this and the other. Does she do that to USAA? Does she tell USAA, hey, because you guys get a break on electricity and water, we need a percentage of every premium that comes in for auto insurance and homeowners insurance? Does she do this to the military? Does she do it to the Brook City base? Does she do that to any other adventure, any other big group over here, Valero, HEB, anybody else that does business in San Antonio? Is she requesting a percentage of what they do simply because they get funding from the city or they get tax dollars? Guess what? Every big entity from Toyota to USAA to Valero to HEB to Bill Miller's to whomever gets some sort of break from the city. For some reason, she's targeting the Spurs. There's a hatred that she has for that Spurs organization. I don't get it. I don't understand why, because the city of San Antonio needs the Spurs, and the Spurs could, not say that they're ever are threatening to leave, because they haven't. But the idea of this city being without the Spurs hurts me. I was a huge Houston Oilers fan growing up. I know what it's like for my favorite team to leave. And I'm looking at San Antonio. I've lived there 44 out of 48 years of my life. I love my Spurs. And I look at everybody who's against Project Marvel that she brings up. There's not one city leader there. All the city leaders, all the business leaders, all the people who create jobs, all the people who make money and are successful in life, guess what? They want Project Marvel because they want San Antonio to advance. And as Sean Elliott said, we need to be as big, as bad as Houston, as Dallas, as Austin. We need to be bigger and badder than they are. We need to be a big city and think big in big ways. And for the everyone who seems to be against Project Marvel seems to be small-minded to me, man. I don't get it, but there's an age discrepancy. There's a socioeconomic discrepancy as to who's for it and who's against it. I'm for it. I love my Spurs.
Yeah, and me, you know, it's hard for me to give an opinion because the big elephant in the room for me is I work with Ken's 5, so I got to be neutral in all this. So I really can't say much other than get a fan. In this case, you're just putting the fan cap on right now to get your thoughts. But you know, we're trying to make a balance here. You know, as mentioned, Mayor Jones, she was on Ken's 5 TV. And then we get the other side of the argument right here on Locked On Spurs with Solano coming on tomorrow. Then we had Councilwoman Core. She came on. So we'll try to keep it balanced here. But nevertheless, no, if I can just give a few thoughts, though, is that I think, you know, you're going to start seeing a lot more of this. You know, every side is going to ramp it up now. You're going to start seeing, Spurs started this, then we have a rally here. Jones said this, and now we're going to have somebody from the Spurs speak out. So you're going to see this fighting going on, this campaigning until November. So, and that's the thing, Jimenez, it's just getting started. This is just the beginning, everybody. And you have what? September, October, and that's it. 2 months of this is going to be happening.
The Spurs are going to have a few games at the Frost Bank Center before the election.
Yep.
The biggest thing the Spurs can do is get off to a fast start and make an impassioned plea. And a lot of us Spurs that are against Project Marvel are like, well, the Spurs haven't won the last 5 or 6 years. Well, guess what? Name all the teams that have won 5 championships since 1999. And all. They deserve it.
All right.
We deserve it. It's a city. We deserve it.
Exactly. He is Mike Jimenez with Area 210 Podcast. Again, we're going to have a full breakdown of what Mayor Jones said a couple days ago on Ken's 5 TV. We'll have Spurs consultant Andrew Solano come back on and then react to that. So he'll break it all down. So it should be a good, interesting show for all those interested in what's going on with Project Marvel, the future of a possible downtown Spurs arena. All right, we'll get back. Let's talk. Let's pick one. We'll pick one Locked On Spurs fan comment and react to that right here on Locked On Spurs. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Mr. Mike Jimenez. His return after a long time away from the show, but we're glad he's back. And now we're going to react to one Spurs, Locked On Spurs fan comment. Unfortunately, we got time for one, so let's dive into it here. This is from Rhino210. No, I'm sorry, it's Rhino21. And then he begins his comment with, here we go, quote, Mike, you reaction to this. If we're healthy, Spurs, it's gotta be the playoffs. We got the youth, a number 1 and number 2 draft pick, Wemby and Harper, young head coach, Mitch Johnson. Let's go. Thank you for that comment there, Rhino21. Let's dive into that. So, based on what the commenter has to say right now, do you think for this upcoming Spurs season squad, it has to be playoffs? Is a play-in berth a bad season? What do you think?
Yes, it is. Play-in tournament is a bad season. Spurs need to make the playoffs one way or the other. Now, if the Spurs get in as the 7th seed and eventually make their way into the playoffs, I suppose I'd be okay with it. But really, fighting for the 5 or 6 spot should be what the Spurs look for. The Spurs need to have expectations. You have a former All-Star who's still in his prime, and De'Aaron Fox, who's now healthy. You have Wemby, who should take the leap. You have Castle, who's getting better. You have Sohan on a contract year. You now have the number 2 overall pick in Dylan Harper. You have a bench that is very, very, very deep with Luke Cornett and Kelly Olynyk and all those guys. Champagne still is returning back. Devin Vassell, Kelvin Johnson, for crying out loud, who's still on the roster after so long. The Spurs have everything in place to make a playoff run. And we cannot, after OKC won the chip, you can't have youth or inexperience be an excuse anymore. The Spurs have experience. The Spurs have length. Only thing we're missing is 3-point shooting. But you know what? We got some pretty good defensive players out there. It really is playoffs or bust. That's the only way that you can determine if it's a good season or not. Have expectations for the team.
Yeah, I'm the same way too. I said it before in Locked On when we had this conversation. It's got to be the playoffs. I know they make the play in, great, but you sure you get out of the play in to get into the playoffs. I'm fine with that as well. I don't care how they get it done. Just get into the playoffs. I think there is a good chance for them maybe to get that number 6 slot, but they're going to really have to, put the pedals to the metal and go for it, because Vegas is projecting this team to get about 44 wins ish. I think that still maybe gets you a high play-in seed, not necessarily a 1 through 6 seed. So they'll have to, really crank out some W's to get a 1 through 6 seed. But hey, look, you get it to play in, fine, Spurs. Just make sure you get yourself out and get a 7 or 8 seed. I think that'd be good. Now, even if they make the playoffs, Jimenez, even if they lose, say they get swept, say it's a gentleman's sweep, Spurs are out, I'm still fine with that. Yeah. Not necessarily because I don't want them with playoff success. I want them to take the lumps. I want them to learn what playoff basketball is about. Sure, they have Cornette, they have Barnes, they have Olynyk. Those guys have been in the playoffs, but I want to see how Wemby reacts to that up level. I think for me, if I'm looking at the squad, I got to say, Wemby has to guide this team to the playoffs. It's time for him to be the number 1 pick and put this team on your shoulders and push it to the playoffs. Your thoughts?
I mean, I get it. He's in his 3rd season, but he's still younger than what Duncan and Robinson were when they ever joined the team. When they first joined the team, they were 22 years old.
For him,
it's
time.
It really he needs to take a leap. But if you think he's going to put the team on his shoulders, it's not time yet. And it's a long 8-year long contract, man. It's 2 4-year contracts butted together. The fact of the matter is that he's younger than what Duncan was and Robinson was when they first entered the league. Still, and even when we talk about this next year, guess what? He'd still be younger than those 2 guys. We need to put things into perspective when it comes to it all. And
I disagree with you. I think.
I mean, go ahead, sir.
I think it's time for him. It's time. He's 100% healthy. None of this rookie year got hurt. None of this, blood clot, I'm out. He added some size, a little bit of size to his frame. He has the weapons around him now. It's time. It's time.
Well, he's going to become a top 10 player in the NBA this year. I'm saying that the idea of him being a top 3 to 4 player in the NBA is probably about a year or two away.
Woo. Man. Can you imagine the city, the Spurs fan base? I'm sorry if the Spurs do not make the playoffs, not even the play-in. That'd be just not good.
It'd be awful, but we've gotten used to it, man. We'll be tanking in March, man.
Thank you, Rhino21, for that comment. We appreciate it. Hey, that guy, that's Mike Jimenez. He's with the Area 210 podcast. He and Joe Garcia put on a show for y'all. Jimenez Monday through Thursday. Possibly once in a while he does a Friday appearance. But nevertheless, what is going on with Area 210? What's the latest?
Yeah, the show's Monday through Friday, 10 to 11:30. We talk sports, a lot of Spurs, Cowboys, Texans, UT, UTSA, A&M, all of that, man. Texas sports is basically what we do. Some SAFC talk from time to time. But we are a homegrown podcast. We have 2,500 subscribers. We just celebrated number 2,500 last week. We're very, very proud of our community. They were out at the UTSA tailgate hanging out with us. It was a fantastic time. It's a fun show, 10 to 11:30. There's no local radio going on at that time. Sports Star, Ticket 760, they drop off at that time. They go national. Want to keep the local vibe going. Check us out, Alamo Sportscast, Area 210 podcast. You can search either one.
Absolutely. Again, he is Mike Jimenez. A little round of applause for Mike Jimenez to join us here on Locked On Spurs. We appreciate it. Make sure to follow him on X at MJ Acquired Taste. And give him a follow right now, especially at FL season here, and NBA season's right around the corner. He'll keep you up on the latest and give you those hot takes that he gets cooked for almost on the daily now.
Dude, and I'm right so often, man.
Here we go. By the way, Johnny Moore reacted to your tall tale in yesterday's show.
I can't wait to hear this, man, because I think you guys are throwing me under the bus when it comes to
I didn't. I told him the tale that you told me. So I would help you to tell you what the time mark is. I just don't remember. I think it was in the first segment. I'm pretty sure, because with guests like that, like when I bring in like Johnny Moore 00, he's up there. I usually don't do commercials. I'll just kind of go through it and then add them in later. But I just don't remember. So but it's still a good listen, because he shares stories about how the Spurs would give them per diems and how one time the team took a trip to Vegas. That was a fun story.
That's awesome.
But he did react to your tall tale though.
So on the podcast, the tall tales are people say that I'm the Forrest Gump of San Antonio because weird things have happened to me over time. I'm in the right place at the wrong time type of thing. I interviewed Johnny Moore along with Greg Simmons.
There we go.
About 25 years ago, late 90s. And I asked him, did he believe his jersey should be retired up in the rafters? And he looked at me, he goes, yeah, I really do believe that I deserve it based on what I've done for the community, what I did on the court, what I've done off the court, still part of the Spurs organization. It would warm my heart, is what he said, to that effect, have his jersey retired. The Spurs soon announced his retired. That was on KingSat back in the late 90s. Me, together on that. I'm not saying that it's the reason, but maybe it was the straw that broke the camel's back that made the Spurs think to themselves, you know what, we should do this.
Right.
We should do this. I'm not saying we deserve it.
Because the Spurs were listening to Mike Jimenez and said, yeah, Mike says a good point. Let's retire that 0.
Back in the 90s, instant replay was a thing in San Antonio. And if you're 40 years old or older, if you know, you know.
All right. Again, he is Mike Jimenez with his tall tales. Again, if you want to hear what Johnny Moore had to say about Mike's tall tales in yesterday's episode, so go check that out as well.
I stand by it.
Yeah, he stands by it. Mike, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. Everybody else, thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every day. Free to avail wherever we get podcasts. Once again, iTunes, Spotify, Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube. Go check it out. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Hey, by the way, everybody, the Locked On NBA Top 100 is here, voted on by Locked On NBA, hosts of the Locked On Podcast Network. Our Top 100 was formed by experts that cover these teams and players every day. Find the full list on Locked On Sports Today on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss the reactions. Where did some Spurs players land? Yeah, go check it out. Locked On NBA Top 100 is available now. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, we'll have a Spurs political consultant, Andrew Solano. He's going to have a full reaction to what San Antonio Mayor had to say regarding her latest views on Project Marvel. Should be a very informative chat. So for Mike Jimenez, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.